My name is Aurore Bessy. I'm 22 years old and unmarried. I was Mata Hari's maid for 2 years. During my first summer at Nui, the summer of 1912, my mistress had a lot of evening recitals for her friends. She danced for them, sometimes accompanied by a single Asian man playing a strange-looking guitar, sometimes on her own. She always made sure there was a full moon rising for these recitals. I remember the actress Cecile Sorrel coming once. What a shock we all got seeing her in our own garden. Another time there was a General Mesami come to watch. He looked very grand in his red and blue uniform. Eric, Hugo and I would put chairs out for the guests, and then I'd hurry upstairs to help my mistress with her costume. What beautiful clothes she had. I always enjoyed helping her dress so I could feel the lovely cloth in my own hands. She wore long bejeweled robes and tulle veils that trailed to the ground. She wore brass bands on her arms and legs and earrings. Oh, she was a picture when she was all dressed up. Eric and Hugo had usually gone home by the time her guests were settled, whereupon she would introduce her magic flower dance. I peeked from the upstairs room. I'd read in the papers about the meaning of such dances, but I could never see it myself. But it was pleasant enough to watch. Come the autumn, my mistress received an invitation to travel to Monte Carlo to see the head of the Ballet Russe. She said she would perhaps meet Nijinsky while she was there. It should have been good news, but she was agitated because she had already had one bad experience in Monte Carlo. The director of the opera there, Monsieur Antoine, had been staging a play that featured a ballet danced by Cleopatra in the final act. My mistress had been invited to perform it. During rehearsals, Monsieur Antoine complained about her conduct and sacked her. My mistress was outraged and sued him. It was all nonsense, of course, and she won her case, but she couldn't forget how she'd been treated. On the morning of her departure, I helped her to choose a dress to wear. Eventually, we settled on her red velvet dress. She said it made her feel like Lily Langtry. Red was her favourite colour. She once told me how when she was a young girl, she had worn a red dress to school, which had caused quite a scandal. I think she enjoyed it. It was in her nature to be the centre of attention. When we had finished packing her valises, I wished her bonne chance, and off she went. It was lovely and warm while my mistress was away, a real Indian summer. They said it reached 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Paris, but it was cooler among the leaves and open spaces of Nui. Hugo and Eric did their work as usual in the garden, and Marta was less bossy than was her wont. One evening, I was locking the doors to the garden when Hugo suddenly appeared. It gave me quite a shock, since I thought everyone had gone. I unlocked the door, and he gave me a flower. He said it was an eglantine and would spoil soon, so he thought I should have it. He was always giving me little flowers for my room. It smelled beautiful. He said he had another surprise for me. He took my hand and led me upstairs. In my room, he tied several pieces of blue ribbon to the window catch and opened the window. They fluttered in the breeze. He said we had to wait until just before the daylight faded. We lay on my bed together, and he kissed my neck. He whispered flatteries in my ear and said, "Sex without love can be an empty experience, but love without sex is a waste of time." He loved talking in riddles. Just then, I noticed a butterfly by my window. Its wings were the palest blue and had black edges. Soon there were 6 or 7 butterflies all flapping around the ribbons. He smiled and said the ribbons attracted the butterflies to mate. That night, Hugo stayed with me. It was the sweetest night of my life.